Today I'm going to show you, each and every one of you, and the whole world, that the United States, the UK, and France owes Israel reparations for everything that Iran has done to Israel since the Islamic Revolution until today. Let's get started. The CIA, alongside MI6, orchestrated a coup in 1953 that ousted Iran's democratically elected Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh and restored the Shah. This action, known as the 1953 Iranian coup d'etat, had significant long-term consequences. Now let me stop right here. The United States of America is all about protecting democratically elected officials until they are not. This is proof. Same thing with the United Kingdom. Contributing to the conditions that ultimately led to the 1979 Iranian Revolution, while the CIA was aware of the growing unrest before the 1979 revolution, it was not able to predict the extent of the upheaval, and despite efforts to find a peaceful transition with Ayatollah Khomeini after the Shah's departure, the U.S. lacked the ability to control events. The 1953 coup, the CIA and the MI6, with the support of the UK and US governments, had overthrown Mohammad Mossadegh, who had nationalized Iran's oil industry. Oh, it was all about the oil. Yes, in a way you could say that was theft. But out of one side of your mouth, you're all about your oil, and out of the other side of your mouth, you're all about protecting democracy, aren't you? Mossadegh's government was replaced by the Shah, who subsequently ruled as an authoritarian leader. Did that change the nationalization of Iranian oil? For those of you who don't understand what I'm talking about, you see, the UK, presumably, and the United States, presumably, had contracts with Iran to pump oil out of Iran. Iran was going to make money. The UK was going to make money, and the United States was going to make money, etc., etc. Through their different oil companies who invested. But then when this democratically elected president or prime minister, whichever he was, took power, he nationalized all of Iran's oil, which is breaking the contract. Okay? So let's look at Mohammad Mossadegh. He was an Iranian politician, author, and lawyer who served as the 30th Prime Minister of Iran from 1951 to 53. Elected by the 16th, it's a parliamentary election. Just like every other democracy, the United States and Britain claim to protect, and it's necessary. Democracy is necessary, they say, and reason why I'm talking about this is because when the Mashiach comes to Israel, they're going to try to overthrow him in the name of democracy. He was a member of the Iranian parliament from 1923 and served through contentious 1952 election into the 17th Iranian um, Legislative Assembly. Until his government was overthrown in 1953, Iranian coup d'etat aided by the intelligence agencies of the United Kingdom and the United States, CIA, led by Kermit Roosevelt Jr. His National Front was suppressed from the 1954 election. Before its removal from power, his administration introduced a range of social and political measures such as Social Security, land reforms, higher taxes, including the introduction of taxation on the rent of land, and his government's most significant policy was a nationalization of the oil industry. So that's when the Iranian parliament seized control of Iran's oil industry, which had been run by private companies largely controlled by foreign interests. That's the reason. This prime minister decided that Iran was no longer going to be a vassal to the West. So what did the West do? Well, they put the Shah back in, but you see, the problem is the people wanted this president, not the Shah. And the crown prince of Iran is very hesitant about taking back the throne. He said many times that he's not interested. He wants the people to choose their leader. But it looks like that the powers that be in the West are maybe trying to put the Shah back on the throne. Now, France. France did indeed grant Ayatollah Khomeini political asylum during his exile from Iran before the 1979 Islamic Revolution. He lived in a town west of Paris, and I can't pronounce French, and I don't even want to learn French, where he continued to communicate with his followers and reportedly play a key role in orchestrating the revolution. So he communicated with his followers in Iran with France's blessing. He was under the protection of the French police. They literally, the West literally anointed him as the next leader of Iran. They did. While in France, Khomeini continued to communicate with his followers in Iran. His presence there became a focal point for the burgeoning revolution. Following the collapse of the Shah's government, Khomeini returned to Iran in triumph in February 1st, 1979. The town in France still remembers Khomeini's time there with a sign commemorating the hospitality and welcome extended to him by the French. And here, France remained committed to the recognition of the Palestinian people's rights when the Ayatollah Khomeini was expelled from Iran. The French government granted him political asylum, but later. So, as you can see, they wanted, the West anointed this Ayatollah to be the leader of Iran. And so now Israel has to clean the mess that the Western powers installed in Iran, and has to suffer for the sins of Christian West once again. As Iran fires missiles at the hospital in Beersheba, Israel. 30 missiles fired in the early morning barrage. Warheads caused extensive damage to Soroka, southern Israel's main hospital. Israel calls the attack a war crime. 6 people seriously injured at Ramat Gan and Holon. Each of you Western countries that I just mentioned, you are responsible for every Israeli casualty that occurs in this war. You made this happen. It is on your heads. You did this. You did it for money. You sold out the Jews once again for money. This is what you did. Payback is coming, folks. So, this video, is proof that the United States, the UK, and France owes Israel reparations.